So tonight is June 2nd, 2024, and I have actually given thought to my Dharma talk tonight, which is not about um, yelling at my family or any of that. Surprisingly, it's quite the opposite. Um, but I've given thought about this because of so much, and I hope I articulate it. Laura's on her way in. I just been giving a lot of thought of like humanity. No, no light topic here, just light thinking about humanity in general. And I am always like truly in awe of humans and being human and humanity. And I'm in awe of how much we don't really share how hard things can be being human. And that's not to be like Debbie Downer or, Nelly negative. It's just a reality. It's just a reality that life has got a lot of challenges. I mean, the Buddha's whole thing was life is suffering. And I should not have challenged that when I was like in maybe high school. I used to think, oh, that's terrible. Buddha doesn't know what he's talking about. Why is life suffering? And I had plenty of suffering by the time I'm in high school. It wasn't that I was naive, but it is. It has a lot of like really low, difficult points. That's not all it's filled with by any means. And so I'm constantly in awe of like how we keep showing up. We keep getting up again and again and again in the face of not easy times. Even our easy times aren't necessarily easy times. And I know you all know what I mean. And then when I see or hear or feel or say how like, oh my God, humans, like nobody cares anymore. And I hate people and all the things I say, I felt, I hear, but it seems like it's getting to this fever pitch, particularly in well, I was gonna say particularly in the United States, but I really don't have any other reference point because I'm in the United States. And then that just brings my whole energy of like, are we getting worse? Is humanity bad? Are things changing? And then I come back to my senses. No, I refuse to believe that people are ill-intended, that people are negative, that people don't want to help, that people don't care. I just refuse to believe it. And a couple of things. I mean, our reality is based on what we think and feel. So if we think and feel the world is evil and negative, we're probably only going to pick up on the parts that are evil and negative. Similarly, if we do believe that humanity is good and people at our core and the vast majority of humanity is good, then we'll see that. So I've had so many times this week where this has come up to me, and I think of this all the time because I don't want to go into the stream of thinking that I don't want to stay in. I go there, but I don't want to stay in the stream of thinking that things are bad and people don't care and humanity's changing and blah, blah, blah. And this week, one example, and I probably have about 50 from just this week alone because I've been paying attention to it. But the biggest one that kind of jumped out is one of Greg's nurse that gives him his treatment, immunotherapy every week. We've done 5 weeks with her, so we get to know each other because every week we kind of just chit chat as he's going through his treatment. And she shared about how her daughter was in an accident and was left with a traumatic brain injury and all that goes with it. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh my God, this woman has been nothing short of incredible for Greg, for me. She's incredible. And we had no idea. Like you would think that here's this person that is like totally shows up for him and is very calm and patient and talks with us and laughs with us and cries with me. Greg doesn't cry. But here she shares with us this like other whole layer of her life. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm stunned by this woman. I'm like, you mean to tell me you show up here helping people who are not happy to be here? No one's happy to get cancer treatment. And although I am grateful that he gets to have treatment, um, and you show up. And she said, yeah. And then she starts telling us about her daughter's accident. And a very long story short, her daughter was trapped in the car, and a passerby saw the scene. And this man, who was a bodybuilder, just jumped in, ripped the door off the car, and pulled her daughter out. And if it weren't for him, she would have died with the rest of the people in the car. And I can't get this out of my head. I cannot get that whole thing out of my mind because people are good. People want to help. People want to do the right thing. People want to show up for each other. People are good at the very core of our being. There are very few who aren't good. I really believe that. They might be getting a lot of airtime, like, because our media shows the horrendous acts that are happening in the world, but there are so few in comparison to your daily life. You all know what you do on a daily basis that's never talked about. You never say, hey, I paid it forward for that person in the car behind me. You never say, I jumped to the accident scene and saved a girl's life. You never say, oh, I'm a hospice nurse and I save people's lives and sanity every week. We don't say it. We're not saying it. We're not showing that. We're not overly talking about it because it's our nature. It's natural. It's normal. And that's gotten me to thinking that that has to be put out there more. That has to be focused on more. For ourselves to see it when other people do it for ourselves, for ourselves to see it when we do it for others, and not in a boastful way, but not in a frivolous way either. But it's really important for all of us to remember that humanity's mostly good, like grossly mostly good. And for whatever reasons that I'll never fight or solve, the negative cells or the fear cells, I don't even know. I don't even care at this point. What I do know is that the truth and the reality is that humanity is good and we want to help. We want to show up. We want to be heroes, but not with like, I'm a hero, I wear a cape. We just want to be useful and in service to each other. And it is screaming to me to keep promoting that within myself and for all of us to wake up to that reality, because the other one is really bad. It's really not true. It's just not true. It's just not. Yes, there are bad things. Yes, there are bad deeds, but I wish we knew percentages. I would think it's 5% bad, and that's being really generous. I really think it's 1% bad, maybe even 0.1%, but it gets all the attention. It gets all of our energy. And so we get to focus on and decide what we focus on. And so for this week, really focus on the heroes, big and small, the little good deeds, the extra mile you all go for someone else, whether they're a stranger, a coworker, friend, family member. uh, the post you make to support someone and just comment congratulations on their kid's graduation, or like the little things add up. So place all of your attention and focus on the good deeds and on the good acts and the good things we do. Is it's time that needs a massive groundswell, and it's way more powerful. It's way more subtle, but it's way more powerful when we keep multiplying it. Within yourself too, don't forget to recognize your own personally. your own actions. You don't have to post, look at me, I bought the person behind me coffee. We don't have to do that. We could just know that we did. So that's our mindfulness work for the week because we're good. We're mostly good. All over the world, 8 billion of us. That's a massive amount of people that are just willing to show up and survive and help each other. That's all we can do. So on that note, let's see where we go tonight and get yourselves in your meditation positions. Go ahead and turn off your lights if you wish. And turn off your cameras if you wish. I'm setting my timer. Go ahead and get yourselves nice and comfortable. And you can decide whether to keep your eyes closed or open. And just for a moment, just let yourself settle in to your space. And also let yourself sort of reflect on the Dharma talk. Just notice where your brain wants to go with it, and what it wants to do with it, and not judging that, just being aware of it. And then go ahead and bring your attention to your breath. And take a really nice, deep, slow, mindful breath. And let yourself just arrive in your body, in this moment, in this space, in this time. And if there's any noises outside the walls of the room you're in, acknowledge them and allow them to be. In fact, incorporate them into your meditation. We don't need to be in a place of perfect peace surrounding us in order to find peace within us. And just continue to bring your attention to your breath and your body. And notice any places in your body that are tense. See what of those places that are tense can you relax. There may be some that naturally release or let go, and others remain tight, and we allow them to be tight just as they are. They will work themselves out as they need. And just notice and feel what it feels to bring air in and out of your body. Notice the rise and fall of your chest and abdomen with every breath. Let your body begin to settle into itself, just as you are right here, right now. Relax your facial muscles. And just scan your body, going down your throat and neck and shoulders, down your spinal column. Scan down both arms. And scan your diaphragm, your rib cage, your abdomen. Scan your hips and pelvis. Scan down both legs. And just bring all of your mindful attention to yourself and your body in this moment. Recognize that brilliant brain of yours sitting on top of your shoulders. We're going to begin to tell the brain to start powering down. That doesn't mean shutting down. We're signaling to our brains that it is safe to just breathe and just be in this moment. We're taking the brain and the body off of high alert. We're entering into a receptive mode of just being right here, right now. And if the brain wants to know what it needs to do, remind it just being is its doing right now. Think into this moment, into the safety, into the stillness of this moment. Let yourself arrive or land in your body. Begin to imagine your brain as like your home. And the brain has many rooms, many closets, many compartments, doorways, windows. Just use your imagination and begin to dim some lights in the house of your brain. Maybe close some doors, pull down the shades. This represents just bringing the brain's awareness just inward. Let your ears Stay wide open, hearing all sounds around you. Let yourself hear this farthest sound you can hear. Be aware of your breathing and the rhythm of your breath and the tempo of your breath without any judgment. Let your body just fall more into relaxation. Let your bones feel heavy against the couch, the floor, the seat, the chair, wherever you are. Let your full weight of your body, you feel yourself sitting or laying exactly where you are as you are. And bring your attention and your imagination to the very center of your brain, going right into the third eye chakra, located right behind the forehead in the very center of the brain. And here, imagine a light or a crystal or any substance that can be illuminated right in the center of your brain. And just bring your attention and focus to the light in the center of your brain being turned on. Notice the glow of that light. It's often associated with the color purple or violet. Your light can be any color you see, you choose. Imagine this light is spinning. Just notice what direction it spins in. It doesn't have to spin fast, but it could. Anytime your mind wanders from this light, gently bring it back to the center of your brain. Begin again. Notice the illuminated light of the third eye chakra. Chakra is just an energy center in the body. And imagine the light from this center begins to beam outward in all directions. It's almost as if your head is like a lighthouse, and that third eye chakra is beaming this brilliant light outward. And that light can be very, very dim or very, very bright. There's no difference. Using your imagination, send this light as far out as you can imagine, beyond your brain, beyond your head, in all directions. That can be an inch away from your head, could be miles. There's no right or wrong, there's no better or worse. Just use your observation and imagination. You prefer your light to be brighter or dimmer, just imagine that there's a switch in your mind that you can control the brightness of this light. If you want it brighter to go further out, you just switch the light to do so. And if you want it duller and shorter, you can do that. There's no better or worse. It's just your preference in this moment. And begin to imagine that the light of your third eye is attracting certain things to you. And allow your mind to be aware of what it's attracting. And yet, if it's something you don't wish to attract, which is normal to see and feel, you can say no to that. So just notice and observe what's coming towards you. What are you attracting? If it's not favorable, not wanted, you're catching it before it becomes your reality. And you can say no, you can delete. And if that's too much, or you don't wish to participate in that, you can do the opposite and observe what you're sending out to the world. What are you sending out? You get to choose what feels better for you in this moment. can also choose to just focus on the light. Go to 0 point, the point where you're neither attracting or sending out. Just notice whatever you're noticing, whether your mind is focused or if it's all over. Bring your attention back to your breath, back to the light in the center of your brain. And begin again. Remember to remove the concept of right or wrong or good or bad out of your mind. And then with levity, choose your adventure, which includes choosing the middle path or 0 point. Be aware of your breath, your breathing. Aware of your body just as it is right here, right now. Bring your attention to the third eye chakra energy center, noticing its brightness, its color, its illumination. Noticing the spin of the center. Notice the heaviness of your body and let it be. Review what you're attracting or what you're sending out, whatever feels better for you to do. Remove the concept of good or bad, right or wrong. Notice your body. If it brings in any tension, notice it. Allow your breath to relax the body. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes, but stay aware of that light illuminated in the center of your brain. Bring gentle movement to your body, keeping your eyes closed. Being aware of that energy center in your brain. Recognizing the signal that you're sending out, the signal that you're attracting. There's no good or bad. There's no right or wrong. There is desired and undesired, favorable and unfavorable. Bring your attention to your breath, your breathing, the light in the center of your brain, the spinning, the illumination. Gently open your eyes about halfway open with a very soft gaze, looking downward. And still bring your attention to that light in the center of your head, the signal you're sending out or the signal you're receiving. And close your eyes. Realize that yes, you are you, the person you know yourself to be. You're also an energetic sort of antenna, an energy field in and of yourself. Again, with your eyes closed, bring movement to your body, holding on to the awareness of you being an energetic being. Your eyes closed, bring your attention to your heart center. And imagine the light illuminated in your heart. Imagine this any color beaming outward as far as you wish for it to go. Imagine this light being as bright or as dull as you wish it to be. Imagine what your heart energy center is attracting, or you can do the opposite and imagine and visualize what the heart center is sending out. There's no right or wrong, there's no good or bad, there's no better or worse. Notice what you send out into the world through your heart center, and or what you attract in through your heart center. Recognize that your heart is also an antenna. The heart and the third eye work together. Imagine those two energy centers in alignment with each other. Whatever that looks like and means for you in this moment. I don't know is an answer. And then gently float your eyes halfway open, looking down with a soft gaze, noticing and observing, feeling and being aware of that heart center and the signal it's sending out or the signal it's receiving. When you're ready, you can close your eyes again and just feel yourself as that energetic being. And imagine a powerful beam of light energy going in through the top of your head, all the way down your spine to every energy center. It's just filling you with more energy. It's quite literally filling an empty vessel or half filled vessel, adding more light, more love, more support, more trust, more empowerment, more compassion in through your body. And so the signal goes out 10 times as strong. And the signal coming in comes in 10 times as strong. And to feel your body as being energized, amplified. Your signals getting stronger. Imagine all pathways in your body, mind, and spirit being opened, receptive, cleaned, cleared. Imagine your entire system getting connected, brighter with every other being in the universe. Bring movement to your body, keeping your eyes closed. Wiggle your fingers, your toes. Stretch. Still holding on to the awareness that you're an amplified, energetic being. And bring your awareness to your breath. You're ready, and only when you're ready, bring or open your eyes. And even when your eyes are open, still hold on to the awareness of being energy. When you're ready, and only when you are ready, we come fully back into our group together. And turn on your cameras, your lights. A reminder, we can log off at any time that feels right for you. I always encourage us to stay for a little bit of the discussion, but if you're in your own zone, stay there. And just check in with how you feel without judgment. And what I mean by that is without placing how you feel. Describe sensations versus you feel good or bad, heavy or light, if that makes sense. And then with a show of thumbs up, middle, or down, let me know how that meditation was for you. Up, middle, up, 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 middle, middle, up, up, middle, down. And the rest might be sleeping. Okay. Mine was like this. Up, down, up, middle, up, down. So, couple of things with this. Remember to, when you do want to contribute, remember we're not going to go play by play over what you saw, but more go deeper, go less words. Well, not less words, but more brevity of what's your takeaway from whatever you experienced. Takeaway slash observation. Yeah, I'll leave the question there. And or how do I want to phrase this? Well, as a group, I want you to be aware of how many of you were able to observe certain thoughts as like less favorable or things that you're attracting. How many of you could see a correlation between a thought and what you're attracting? And was that something you wanted versus something you didn't want? So I'm curious in that dynamic. And were you able to catch it? Who wants to share first? Thank you, Laura. I don't know what I would do without you here.
I just decided I'm just going to jump in and get this thing going. Um,
Thank
um,
you.
so I found that me sending out was much easier than bringing in. And so there was kind of no, um, it wasn't good, bad, or unfavorable, whatever, because I would block it, which I was like, oh, well, that's kind of interesting. Because I was, sending out a lot of love and peace and positive and health and, all good things. Um, I like the physical side. My brain felt like it was getting a massage, like on the inside. I physically felt I had this horrible headache when we started, and it went away, and I could just feel it. It was really, that part was really cool.
Mm.
So yeah, and I was in kind of that 0 point way longer than I usually am or able to, because usually when I am kind of out of it, I don't really know. I kind of go somewhere else, like I'm almost dreaming. And here, I was completely aware, but yet not. I was just here. And so it was nice to be able to just experience that for an extended amount of time. Because I normally don't. And I normally I want to do something, like I might have activities and I need a checklist and get it done. And I wasn't there. So it was nice to do that. So yeah, I don't have a lot to interpret because I was just kind of there, except for noticing that it was hard to bring things in.
That's kind of the that's kind of the unintended or intended point of like 0 point is nothing to interpret. Is that's what 0 point is. You're not interpreting anything. So that's like the fact that you say that is like so spot on.
Yeah.
That's why 0 point's so wonderful, because the brain's like, oh, thank God, I don't have to put this in a good or bad or desired, undesirable category. It's just is.
Right. Yeah, I'm incredibly relaxed but yet energetic. Like, I feel fantastic now. So that
Good.
it was good. But normally I don't like these where we have a lot of kind of quiet time because
Mhm.
I do wander and think about stuff. And yeah, so it was like, oh, this is nice.
Good. And maybe your past self didn't like longer periods of silence, but as we're moving into this, we are creating more silence pretty much every week, differently. Some weeks, total silence. But my observation from today's meditation to say 10 years ago meditation, entirely different. 10 years ago, there wasn't a moment where I wasn't filling in the blank, not a moment. So, like, that's just a cool observation and just shows us like what our brains are getting used to doing, getting trained to do. So it's cool. And it
Thanks.
is interesting. Who else felt like sending out was so much or easier, more favorable, whatever the word we all want to use is than coming in. Yeah. And that's just a good observation. What does it mean? It won't mean anything except what we put to it. Whatever we tell it to mean is what it will mean. It's just a good observation. Like, huh, interesting. Observe it with curiosity. What is that? What's that about? But yeah, that's common. Who else? Who else was raising their hand a minute ago? Was there? Maybe not. Go ahead, Ken. Thank you. That was 45 minutes long, by the way.
Felt it. Um,
Mhm.
the long pauses are hard for me because my mind just wants to go and.
Mhm.
I found that unless I sit down and start doing chakra meditations, third eye meditations for that chakra, a lot of it for me, what was coming through or going out, I didn't have a lot of control over.
Mm.
It's really happening. I'm not thinking about what's coming in and what I'm giving out, I'm sending out. And that just, not even, it's something you should be aware of, but probably not for me on a basis. It's just happening.
Mhm. Cool. How does that feel?
Well, I think I would like to work on the third eye a lot more. I think I need to do that. It's not something that I do. And it's kind of scary in some sense because you can be bringing in, if you're not like at one point where you were talking in the meditation about what do you want to let through and what don't you want to let through. But I think lots of times we're just so functioning in what we're doing, we're not thinking about that. And if somebody comes through and this negative energy just comes towards us, we're not sitting there thinking, well, I don't want to let that in. Won't go away. It just gets to where it's going to go and we pick it up without even picking it up. And so we're taking in the good with the bad. You're bringing the positive energy and the negative energy and sending out. I'm probably sending both. I was thinking before when you were talking about with the, I don't know, something with you were upset at home with something. And I'm thinking you're giving out this energy to everybody and it's all hitting everybody, without even thinking about it, it's just boom to everybody. But we do that. And I think it is a little scary. We need to think about that, what energy we give out and trying to think about it a little bit more. Because for me, I don't think I think about it enough.
Yeah, and it's not, it's an awareness of like, I'm always leery of people who say, I'm a very positive and peaceful person. They're the ones I'm afraid of, to be totally honest, because one, I bet you Mother Teresa, I bet you, I don't know, high masters would never say that because what it is, they're very aware of when they're not. That might not be often or frequent or intense. I don't know, maybe it is for them, but they're at least aware of it. And so anyone who's saying I'm very positive and loving, that tells me that you're so not you, Ken, just in general, people when they say that is that they're so unaware of when they're not.
Right.
And that's more dangerous to me. Because we need to be aware of when we're not, so we judge others less when they're not.
Right.
Because if we can see our own, then we can have a little more tolerance for other people. That doesn't mean we're going to strive. Well, for me, that doesn't mean I'm going to strive for perfection. Like we can't, I'm not going to get there this lifetime. I've resigned. I can still want to, but not hold myself to an impossible standard because I know what I'll do with that. I'll crash myself. See, there I go again. I can't do this. I'm the worst person ever. I don't want to do that either. So it's just a good awareness of like, yeah, we all are filled with negative emotion, negative energy. Good night, Tom. And positive energy. We all have it. We're not absent of it. And it's just to be aware of it and then catch what we can.
I think that takes practice
100%.
to be,
Such practice, such vigilance.
to just become aware of it. It's not easy. It's not for me. I wouldn't want to know what's going out half the time,
I hear you.
you know. I think it's something to be worked on in both ways.
Totally. And
I don't
there's
think-
like neurobiological reasons why we have negativity. Like in the spiritual context, we think negative as negative energy, not nice, maybe unkind, or whatever their ideas of negative energy are. But in like neuroscience, negative energy is considered like a response in the brain. And sometimes a negative response in the brain is for a positive reason. For example, when cortisol floods our body to make us run in a dangerous moment, that's negative energy coursing through our body for a positive reason, for survival. So these things aren't looked at in science as like kind, loving, and compassionate. They're literally looked at like survival, not survival, which is so intriguing to me because we all often forget, especially in a spiritual context, we often forget that some of this is just our biological response as being human, as animals, as these human animals. And I'm learning right now about something called amygdala hijacking, and it's literally changed my life. Laura, you'll love it. All of you will love it. But basically, it's when how many of you have ever had like an emotional response that's completely like irrational and you know it's irrational at the time, but you can't stop it? Yeah, that's called an amygdala hijacking. And it's so fascinating that all of a sudden our brain gets flooded with a certain trigger. A certain trigger will pop it off. And yeah, we know we're irrational, but we still can't stop the emotion. And there are ways to completely catch it from a scientific point of view. Now, in spiritual context, we would say, oh my gosh, we're negative, we're not nice, we're unkind, we're blah, 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 which is not nice, which is unkind in a science mind. So what do? One of the tools when you're in that state is this is my favorite tool. There's many of them, like stop and breathe, count backward from 10, those typical things. But one is start giving yourself math equations. 1 + 1 is 2, 10 - 9 is 1, 7 times 2 is 14. And what that does, and I've used that because I've been practicing this for a couple of weeks, and man, it shuts off. It shuts it off. And what that is because the amygdala, which is the center of our emotions in our brain, is in an emotional state, which means it's not in a logical state. It's not in a rational state. So when we start giving it math, it puts it into logical. Oh, hang on a second. And it really is an amazing tool. So the next time you're having this like emotional response to traffic or your boss or whatever, 10 - 9 is 1, blah, 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 blah. It's become a joke in my house in the last few weeks. And with my therapist, I'm like, 1 + 1 is 2, 2 + 2 is 4. Everything's fine. It's good. It's a good one. So I just find it interesting in a spiritual context, we look at things one way. And maybe that's not so kind to ourselves spiritually when there's a biological reason why we have these things. We don't need to call ourselves bad people or other people bad people. They're in an amygdala hijack or they're in a biological response. But we don't normally think that way. So kind of merging those two worlds together creates a little bit more harmony, I think, internally. And a lot shorter reaction time, which is definitely helpful. And Kelly, were you raising your Kelly Colin?
I
Hand raised, but
I
I
was
don't know
just
if
gonna
it down or
share.
if you were just agreeing to.
Yeah, a little bit of both. I was just to kind of summarize, I guess, for mine, I didn't really love it. I feel like I was kind of weaving in and out, but one, I guess, takeaway from it was just like how cool it felt to feel like so protected by all the things that I thought like when you said, what are you putting out? What are you getting back? I kept seeing all the things that didn't work out for me that actually, like, of course, in hindsight, did work out for me. And I'm like, ooh, whoa, whoa. Like, I didn't even know what I thought I wanted, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I had like these cool visions of just like running through the woods in a happy way, not a scared way. And I just kept seeing like on the left and the right, like in all the bushes, like all the things that I like thought were it, just in general, like career, life, like little friendships, little like relationships, all this stuff. And I was like, oof, just kind of cool to see.
That's really cool too, because just what you're describing too, like running through the woods, left and the right. I mean, that's splitting the brain into left and right. You're going the middle path. You're going right down that center space of like seeing things as they are, not being attached one way or the other to them. And then in that process, it's joyful, like realizing
Yeah.
what
I
didn't
did
work out.
notice too that one just like observation, I guess, was that I didn't like ever stop running. Like it just kept running, kept running. And I don't think that usually, I don't know, maybe I would have stopped in my brain if it was not in a meditative state to be like, well, hold on. Yeah, that one did suck. Like it just didn't matter. So it was
Oh, yeah, I like that.
kind of cool.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
kept going. Yeah, that's really a
Yeah.
good observation and a cool one for all of us to kind of like get on board with. And that's like really important too, to revisit like what you're saying is what just making me think of it. but we wanted so badly. And we realized in hindsight, oh, I'm glad that didn't happen, or that opened up for these things. So we normally think about what didn't happen that didn't go in our favor. You know, we're clear about those things, but we rarely give a lot of time to the things that didn't go in our favor, and thank God they didn't. Does anyone have one that pops into their head right away, like when we say that? Yeah, so that's like good to kind of think about or be aware of. And someone was raising their hand. Was somebody else raising their hand a minute ago? Why do I? Oh, you know what it is? It's Kelly. You're. And every once in a while I'll see this, so I thought a hand's going up. That's great. So just so all of you don't think I'm like losing my mind here, like, why does she keep thinking someone raising her hand? I'm like, I see movement somewhere. Let's see. Let me just think of what we have this week. I think we have membership chat. Yes, on this Thursday night at 8 o'clock Eastern time. So membership chat's been moved, or it's been scheduled. And I put from July to December into your portals. So those are out. I don't know if we sent out an email to let you know. No, I don't think we did actually. So you can check your portal for the next, like for the rest of the year's worth of online galleries for membership and grief group and membership chat. And I think that's it for now. And then in September, I'll be working on lots of workshops. Once again, when school's over and I can breathe and I can like the world again. Um, so anyone else have anything else to share? Any thoughts, comments, snide remarks? Oh, grief group is this Tuesday. So Tuesday and Thursday of this week. Wow, we've got a lot. I started for the second half of the year, I started to put things, and now I can't remember what they were, but I think like membership chat will be on Sundays, like the second Sunday of every month. So it'll be consistent. So at least we can count on when it is and see how that works, with, of course, always room for movement, as like if people say, no, Sunday's not a good day, Thursdays are better, then we'll change it. But for right now, I'm trying to keep things a little bit more consistent. I feel like I'm leaving something out. Oh, Saturday morning is an online gallery. Yep, I just added that. So it'll probably be very small because I literally just added that back into the schedule. So I really haven't promoted it outside of us. So I will this week, but depending on how much time I get to promote those things. So my point is that'll be a small gallery. If you're interested in popping on, you can pop on and off. If you can only stay for an hour, there's like no, you don't have to commit to the whole time. You could pop in an hour in. It's very loose. So we have a big week ahead. Jesus, why do I do that? It's then I won't see you all for another month for everything.
What time is that
Whatever.
at on Saturday?
Saturday, that is 9 a.m. Eastern. So 6
Okay.
a.m. your time.
I might still be awake.
Still from the night. Yeah. So I made it clear, or I will make it clear, and I think it's on my website, like your camera should be on, but I'll if you don't want your camera on because it's 6 a.m. for you, you're exempt for that. Anyone else? Thoughts, questions, unrelated commentary? Anyone else want to share their meditation? Kind of logging off a little. Yeah, go ahead, Jen.
I changed my location and my posture this week, and I don't know that it made too much of a difference for me. I don't remember a damn thing, so I don't know. I was like, oh, I'll do it in my office. And I literally sat here the whole time in the chair. And it was like, I kept thinking, like, I got to keep my head up. It was like, because usually I sit back and like just lean back on a pillow. So I don't know if I need to practice that, but like the whole posture thing, like, didn't work for me. Like, I need to.
Are you in a chair with arms?
Yeah, like I'm in a chair with arms, but like it doesn't have a high back. You know what I mean? So like My
And
neck is like,
does it move the chair? Like, does the
yeah,
chair?
it's on wheels, but I was keeping my feet flat and trying to stay like grounded. Like I was trying to like do something a little different this time.
Well,
But
good. I do find chairs with wheels and chairs that move are not great for meditation because you're so distracted by any movement.
yeah,
Like
then
you
I
don't
could hear like him in the house, like I can hear him walking around, you know, so it was like, shit. I'm just like trying to do something a little different to see if I could like mix it up a little. I mean, I was definitely somewhere, you know, and I heard, you know, you coming back and stuff. So maybe I was at 0 point, who knows? But I was still like, don't remember a damn thing. But
this one wasn't like a lot to like remember.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
very quiet. I do
Yeah.
remember it being like, because it was long and I'd be like, oh shit, like, is this gonna end? Because I can't keep that up anymore.
I was thinking the exact same thing. I actually my alarm went off on my phone, so I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. We're wrapping up." And then it was like, "No, let's do our heart." And I remember thinking, "No. No, it's 30 minutes." So it wound up being 45 minutes long. So
It's a long time.
I thought
That
that
might have been my fault because I stretched back and was opening up my heart. And we've talked about that before about physically how opening your heart. And then you went right into that. And I'm like, oh,
yeah, I was ready to wrap it up. I'm like, "Okay, we did the heart,
sorry.
third eye, boom, we're good." And then it was like, "No."
Yeah, I
Now
feel like you told us to open our eyes like 3 times, right? And then you're like, finally, I'm like, okay, are we? Oh no, we're not. Okay. Oh, maybe no, no, no.
Here we go. And nope, go back to sleep.
And keep your head up. Keep your head up. Did not fall. Anyway, I tried to do something a little different. Let's see. Change is good.
You need to get back to your bed, Jen.
I think I do. I have like a nice. I usually do
Chair.
it in Emma's room, like my little Zen den, and I have a nice chair, and I put a pillow, and like I was like, oh yeah, I got to go back to doing that.
Mine was like Laura's. I was gone, just gone.
Nice.
I remember hearing you once open your eyes, but I couldn't open my eyes.
Yep. The opening our eyes is kind of new because we often forget that these things are happening. Like right now, as we're all talking, we still have chakras moving and glowing and energy going out and energy coming in, but we often forget to relate on that level. So that opening our eyes is to kind of bring both worlds together. Our day-to-day life world, our beingness, and that centered space. Because we can walk around in a meditation, literally. Our lives could be our meditation, but we don't think of it that way. We
I
always
think
think
I'd
of,
like to see you do that.
I will in it'll be year 4,962. So if we're all hanging out together, you might be able to see
Here,
that
45.
in this
If
lifetime.
man is still alive.
In this lifetime, I've succumbed to, I don't know, actually, right now I'm just succumbed to just get done with school. Just 3 more classes. And then, I expect to feel like I've born. I don't know what I expect to feel. My God.
Will this be it for you this year? This for classes?
Yep.
Yeah, I thought you said 2
By
years and you
August
started a
9th.
year ago.
Yeah, by August 9th, I'll be done.
Yep.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's gross.
Done is done.
And I have mainly learned how much I hate being a student. Like of a student that has to like write papers and format APA, that type of student. I love learning. I'm already looking up like, okay, what other kind of things can I do, but not school and APA format? Oh, who cares? So boring. Whew. I'm gonna like, I will levitate. After these classes, I will levitate. I'll feel so free. I better.
It's like your dad's monk.
Exactly. Exactly. You all know that story. My dad saw a monk actually levitating. Fascinating story. It's a good one. I still ask him about it. We talked about it not that long ago, so it's really funny you're bringing it up again. Because I bring it up to him every once in a while. Dad, he has Parkinson's now, my dad, and he's kind of like not losing it, but losing it. And I'm still like, you did see that monk levitate, right? Like maybe now you'll tell me the truth that you didn't, and I'll have to backtrack to everybody I've told the story to. But he's like,
You're
swears on his
crazy.
swears. I know, we're crazy. We're crazy.
I was at the Greek festival today because Deb was working it, my niece, and all her in-laws showed up and they were like, Joan, how are you? When is Deborah coming back to Albany? Very quickly, Joan, how are you? When's Deborah coming back? I went,
Nice.
I will ask her. So now I'm throwing it at you.
Well, thank you. I just reached out to
Yeah.
a venue today, actually, up there. I won't go back to that place.
Okay. I was curious that outcome ever.
It was-
Deb, I'm gonna have to go beat the shit out of some people.
No, I'm feisty, you guys. I'm feisty. Someone wasn't gonna pay me for a big event that I did, and I don't know. I don't pay like
Wow.
you don't play that. So I contacted the mayor of Cohoes. I mean, I get in there.
Good
Like,
on
I'm
you.
like,
You
no,
should.
right and wrong. No. There's no
Good.
reason. So it ended up being right, but I'm not going to go back.
Yeah.
So stupid. So draining.
What are you looking for? I mean,
I'm
I
not,
can
I'm
do,
not
I can do
totally-
some searching.
Somebody just tagged a venue. I think it was today or yesterday. They tagged it on social media. So I contacted them and they said they'll be in touch. So,
Good.
yeah, I'm not sure yet because I'm not totally in that mode of like planning events just yet. But I know once August hits, then I will. Like down here, my events for September, October, November are
Yeah.
filled, but not anywhere else yet. But they will be. I'll have a rebirth coming after school and a redo and
Rebirth.
classes and workshops and good stuff with science, but not science, like not sciency, but I can't wait. I can't
And the
wait.
Omega, you got the Omega too.
Omega, yep. I've got Omega coming up. A lot of things for the fall.
Okay.
Good. So thank you. Tell them I said thank you for asking.
I will. I will.
So, all right, everyone have a great, 2 days for those of you that I'm going to see on Tuesday, and then another 2 days for those of you I'll see on Thursday. I've got a gallery in Jersey on Wednesday and a brand new radio gig at CBS Morning Radio in New York City on Friday. So if you can
Really?
see good positive energy for that,
Oh my gosh.
I have not been nervous to do something in a long time, but this is like, oh shit, this is kind of the big time. So
That's cool.
yeah, I think they're recording it, so I don't think it's going to be live Friday is my sense. Otherwise I would promote it, but I'll promote it whenever I know information
That's
about it. So, yeah,
exciting.
Friday morning, send me good energy because I'm going to be like throwing up.
Where are you going to be in New Jersey?
McMurphy's Pub in Ridgewood.
Ridgewood, okay.
Yeah, it's a fun place. I don't know if they're sold out yet. Last I heard, they were
Stomping
like,
grounds, but I have some people that look at, I'm gonna
Oh,
try
yeah.
and send them to you.
please do. Please do. And I have another one, June 11th. They're starting again.
Okay.
But starting September, I'll be flooded with them. It's all good.
Good.
Yeah,
Deb,
Christine.
your text message said that the online gallery's at 8 on Saturday, not 9. I just checked it. I was like, I think it went out at 8.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
I better fix that tomorrow. Thank you. That should be great.
and Joan, I'll help you find a place up here for her to come to.
All right. We're in. We got
Yeah.
2 looking for you.
Please do. And I love it up there. That's the place I looked at.
We love having you up here.
Yeah, somewhere in Saratoga was the one I contacted
Nice.
today, but I don't know if that's I don't know. Someone just tagged me and said, this is a good venue for you. So I wrote them an email real quick before I forgot, because then it won't happen until 4092 when I'm an enlightened.
Saratoga's a nice little town.
It is a nice town.
Yeah.
Great town.
Just
Yeah,
stay away.
August is the day track.
Huh?
What was, save the track? Is that what you
I
said?
said August is the day track, right, Chris? Isn't it
Yeah,
August?
that's what I just said. Stay away in July and
No, no.
August because it's
Well, it's
crazy
busy.
to park and it's crazy to
Busy.
yeah, it's crazy. Well, it's going to be crazy on Saturday because the Belmont is here, but
That's right, June 6th, isn't it? June 6th, yeah.
8th. No, the 8th.
Wait, 8th.
Saturday.
I thought it was the 6th. Right.
Well, it's a busy week. Everyone will
Yes.
see Tuesday, Thursday, or Saturday, or Sunday. So we'll be real good pals all week.
Have a good night.
Great night. You too.
Night,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Good night, everybody.
Yeah. Good night. Good night.